Alright, now that my sound is functional, let's play ourselves Trinket Mage, get a map. Oh boy. Recording is so hard. Anyway, we drew our second Tron piece on turn 2, but we did not have the turn 3 Tron. And our opponent has their optimal start, so we are going to need to draw some things, hopefully. So our opponent holds up Counterspell here. I don't believe... Oh, they drew the second Glinthawk. I don't believe they can that we can run the map out. Yeah, this is just the most obvious counterspell in the world. But that doesn't matter because I drew an Ephemerate. All right, because now I can just go let you counter this. Ephemerate the Trinket Mage, and then play another map. We are in danger of getting burnt out, which is a bummer, but I think we can manage. I could have swung in for 2, not really worth it. In case I click through my blocks, that would suck. I'm not going to race my opponent when they have this many creatures, so... Anyway, while I was muted, on turn 3, they led with a second Astrolabe rather than a Glinthawk, which I took to mean they did not have another Glinthawk in hand. When you had 3 mana and an Astrolabe in play, playing Glinthawk and replaying Astrolabe lets you draw a third Glinthawk and get 6 power onto the board on turn 3, which pretty good. But instead they played a second Astrolabe and then the Core Skyfisher, which led me to believe they drew that Glinthawk the turn previous. So, it's a lot of words for what's going on, but here we go. Let's see what we can do here. So, if I tap Island in mine and get Plant, I can play a Muldrifter with 3 mana up and a second Prism. But I won't be able to cast the Astrolabe because they don't have any snow mana. If I tap the Island for an Astrolabe and then tap these 2, I'll have 5 mana total. I think it's better to do this. Get the Plant, and then play the second Prism in case I draw specifically Dispel. Doesn't quite do it. 1 mana short. Alright, we are going to die to Lightning Bolt if they have a second counterspell. Yep. Miscalc? Okay. That is a ambitious card to be playing, but it worked out for them right now. Alright, gotta dodge the Lightning Bolt. Oh, this is fine. Need to find an anti-combat card, but I think we can manage. Start with Astrolabe. I cannot quite bounce everything, so we gotta find a Stonehorn or a Moment's Peace. We'll evoke here, see what we draw. If they counter, we just prohibit. Seems pretty clear. A Dispel, huh? Well, we die if we don't do this, so... I have not played a land this turn either. Boom. Moment's Peace is fine. Which means I can go Island, and now I have double Counterspell. And I guess I'll discard 2 lands. So discard these 2. I will go ahead and upkeep this in case they need to draw another counterspell. Cool. Whew. Alrighty then. Yep. Now, we are going to need to find, most likely find a second anti-combat cards at some point, or draw a wall next turn. But, for now, we've got it going on. We can fight through an Ephemerate and the counterspell we know about, but if they have 2 other cards that are relevant, then we can start getting locked out. Constant actually helps here. I'm going to start with a Muldrifter. I think I have to fight over this if they just counterspell. Stonehorn's very good here. Go ahead, Dignitary. I'm going to use up my Condescend. And I can still Dispel to fight over the Ephemerate if they have it. Ditch. Actually, I'm not going to make my land drop next turn, so I'm just going to keep the Ghostly Flicker, and then I can flicker Muldrifter and Stonehorn into the land. Sure. You really don't want to fight over a Scrid. Ditch this. Because now I have Dignitary in the yard, so a Pulse gets it back. This is a second Archaeomancer, sure. Getting Counterspell, presumably. Okay. I'm just going to lead with only Muldrifter. See if they fight. I will counter if they do fight. I got 2 flickers. Alright, cool. So right now I just go to blocks. Either take 1 and kill Archaeomancer, or just take nothing. And I got double counterspell plus Moment's Peace and a flicker up. If they try to kill one of my Muldrifters, I get to flicker, and they have a land. That's pretty good. It's pretty good for us, because that means they have counterspell, not a great card, and then whatever card they drew for the turn. So given my hand, if we go to blocks, I guess I'm going to flicker whichever Muldrifter is blocking the Skyfisher, and maybe Trinket Mage. Still like the position I'm in. We are dead to a Lightning Bolt. We are dead to some things. But we're not dead to a lot of things. If they just have another removal spell for one of our Muldrifters, then we're fine. Huh. Okay. I guess I'm going to flicker this one in the Prism. Because I've got another flicker and double counterspell backup. Do they have a Pulse in hand and they're just trying to get their Archaeomancer in the yard, or? So we know they have counterspell. I'm gonna do it like this. Because the card itself isn't that important. The 2 cards off the Muldrifter isn't that important. And now I can draw a card off of my first flicker. Draw 3 cards off of this flicker. Oh. Well, I'm just going to kill my opponent then. Because they have to counter here. They can't let this happen. I go to 1, but my opponent has no cards in hand, and I get to kill their Archaeomancer with Horror, or their Skyfisher with Horror. Alright, cool. And then, I draw 4 cards here. If I find a wall, they actually die, because I just get counter spells back. While taking out their threats. But, I could also brick. And if I do brick, well, I've got options even then. I did not brick. Alright, Scred is blank, and then I draw a card off here. And I have nothing to play, so I have 6. Could have played Teachings in a turn if I had another mana. I don't think I could have made an extra mana somewhere. Start with Astrolabe. Get more colored mana. But as it stands, we're just going to tap differently than this. Go ahead and Mnemonic Wall the Ephemerate. And they conceded. If they had drawn Muldrifter specifically, I don't think I could have done anything about that. But hopefully I could fight through whatever they had, given I had a Teachings in hand. Anyway, not bringing in Gutshot. I don't think they have Spellsetter Sprite. Don't really want Moment's Peace. I'm gonna got second Moment's Peace. They could have Seekers. I don't think so. Don't want Condescend. Don't need the third Pyroblast, but it would be nice. I'm gonna keep all 4 Stonehorns and a Moment's Peace, maybe? Or maybe just go 3 Stonehorns and a Moment's Peace. Got a Flicker. I gotta fit some things in. Miscalc, huh? Yeah, there's no list playing Miscalculation. So they're up to something new. So we didn't see Trinket Mage, we saw Prophetic Prism. We also didn't see Seekers. I'm gonna keep all the Dignitaries and 1 Moment's Peace of Teachings for. I'll bring in more Pyroblasts when I know what we're up against. Same with bringing in a Blue Blast. I could go to 61 cards on the draw. I don't really want to cut the plains, but I also want to cut a land. Do something like that. I pressed the button, so whoops, 61. Oh, man, if only I had 60 cards, I could have a land in hand and mold it anyway. Sand kind of blows. Sand's keepable. Do something like that. Maybe keep the Flicker over the Ephemerate. The 6th card hand with 1 Ash Barrens and Map Prism. I don't think I keep even if it is a non-Ash Barrens land. If it's Snowland, I'm not going to keep it. If it's a Tron piece, 1 Tron piece, Map Prism gets close. And then I had 3 counterspells. I could see keeping that if that was a Tron piece, but yeah. Well, we get to resolve our Prism. One of our 2 prisms. Keeping the Flicker seems like it is paying off. As long as we have 2 targets, Flicker's very good. Yep. If they hold up Counterspell, I'm going to run Prism into it. They did not. Alright. They're on Sky Fishers. No Glinthawks in hand, at least. Alright, let's see if we can draw our 3rd land. We've had 4 draws to it. 5 draws to it. 3 draw steps and 2 prisms, and we whiffed. That's a bummer. That's a real bummer. A lot of Astrolabes. Played Ash Barrens, so they got Counterspell up. If I draw my land, I'm just going to pass turn. Yep. I'd love to get Trinket Mage out and get a map, but this is just too obviously a counterspell. So I'm just going to flicker these 2 into turn. They instep something on my turn. I guess I'll remove auto yields. They're thinking real hard, so let's go ahead and do that. If this is a Pyroblast, sure. Or a Dispel. Yep. We're not taking damage, so they can get their Astrolabes back. And then we can hopefully rip mine and go off. Okay, that's aggressive. That's very aggressive. Just we're gonna run out Trinket Mage. If it gets red blasted, it gets red blasted. That was an extremely aggressive Ancient Grudge. Because now they have so many cards they need to counter from me. Also, if I had just drawn map, I could have played it safely, right? Sure. Boom, mine. I drew Astrolabe, so I'm just going to play that first. And we'll just research. If they have a 3rd Red Blast, sure. If they just Ephemerate here, hopefully we can draw some counterspells. And they've got the 3rd Red Blast. Okie dokie. Okay. Go ahead and play Prism. Trying to draw into a counterspell here. Go ahead and invoke Muldrifter. I just want to draw 2 cards. They Red Blast, it's fine. What the hell? It's a very strange way to do it. Did they have another Ephemerate? No? That's a very strange line. Get a flicker here. We are probably dead, but we can still draw teachings or something. Also, my opponent got back Red Blast, so if I get my own Red Blast, I get to Red Blast their Archaeomancer. So, that works out. I'm going to burn this Horror just to get the Red Blast out of their hand. Or, as they did last turn, maybe they use a second actual counterspell. That's not how they're like signets, you gotta tap them, your mana and then use them. Well, they have the counterspell, and that is a bummer. But we'll wait, let them cast Ephemerate. Don't think there's a way around this. Maybe it's Miscalc and not just counterspell. Oh, they have Dispel. Alright, we are very dead. Alright. So our opponent drew no creatures and a million counters. But given they have so many Red Blasts, we're going to put in our own Red Blasts. Shattering Pulse seems decent still. Pulse Marasa seems decent still. I'm going to cut in a couple anti-combat cards and bring in the Horror, maybe? No, I should probably just put in a Dignitary. Well, how about this? I'll put in another Moment's Peace and cut the Plains. That seems good. I want the 4th Pyro Blast too. How many creatures do we think they're going to be having, right? I'm on the play. I've got Pulse and Marasa to gain life. I've got both Horrors as ways of stopping their creatures from beating me to death. Maybe I do something like that. Now, this might be too many counterspells. I might not draw a hand keepable, but well, this hand's very keepable. Keep ditching the Flicker. And starting with a turn 1 cycle for a Plains. Or Island, rather. Not Plains. Plains is the board. We'll go ahead and Prism next turn unless we draw a 1-drop. We're definitely going to Prism next turn because we might get lucky and hit Spike at turn 3 Tron. We're looking for maps, looking for mines, we're looking for mages, we're looking for more artifacts. We're going to have the mountain, and they're just trying to disguise their blue blast. No. Glad I cut those anti-combat cards. It's gonna work out if I just never draw a draw too many of them. Ooh, that was a good draw. I would love a mine off the top. Kabam. My opponent showed Ancient Grudge, but I have to run out map now because they've also shown multiple counterspells. So it sucks, but if they Ancient Grudge my map and I draw a land, I get to Muldrift or Ephemerate. And if they don't have the Ancient Grudge, golden. Plus, if they Ancient Grudge my map, 100% MCQ is going to let me draw the mine just to rub it in my opponent's face. If they don't have a grudge, then this is great. I feel extremely far ahead if I get to get my Tron on active. Alright. Play mine, go! Into turn teachings. Hydroblast if they red blast. Whew. Feeling good. Feeling really good. I could teachings now. I'd rather just do it at the end of their turn. They showed Dispel, and if they Dispel the teachings, I don't get to red blast it anyway. And I kind of want to red blast it, or them to red blast so I can use my Hydroblast up. They're just wasting their mana on cantrips, and I have twice as much as them. Seems good, seems good. They held up this mana. What does this mean? Exactly. Well, let's see if they counter the teachings. If they counter teachings, it's very easy. I just Hydroblast if I can, and don't if I don't. If this resolves, do I just get teachings, untap, and pass again? I think I do. Then any Tron land lets me flashback and cast the teachings. I'm gonna start with Dispel, and then we see what's going on. Horror was not the greatest draw, but well, opponent's not doing anything, so I'm just gonna pass. I really want to get this Muldrifter out, and I don't want to get got by Red Blast, Dispel. Also, my opponent's not playing a land. Alright, I'm definitely going to flashback here. Yeah, they were discarding hand size, but they gotta have bad cards in hand to discard. And this taps mana, so. Counter target spell if it's red. If they red blast it, or if they counter again, I will counter back. Any counter spell I'll counter back. Because if they counter again, I get to Muldrifter and Ephemerate. Seems pretty clear cut to me. That's not the worst. I need to draw some counter spells or card advantage spells. I bricked hard. Ooh, man, I bricked hard. Well, I don't want to lose my Ephemerate, so I'm just gonna horror back their mountain. They missed the land drop last turn, so I'm pretty sure they have to discard a spell rather than this mountain. Yeah. And now I get to play map. Alright, I got a 4/4. That's not the worst. That's not the worst. If they attack, I can't block. I don't want to lose my horror to a Scred and then get my Ephemerate burnt. We're really looking for a wall or a... Are they Ephemerating? They're just going to let my Ephemerate go off? Wow, that's very good for me. Holy crap. Alright, if I draw a bunch of lands, I'm going to be unhappy. But, as it stands, I get to, Oh. I really want to draw 2 cards. But if I block, and then Ephemerate their Muldrifter, their Ephemerate dies. Or rather, Horror their Muldrifter. But I think I can just draw 2 cards instead. Now if I draw a Flicker, we're in good shape here. Boom. Well, I did go down to 2 anti-combat cards, right? So I should have fewer of those laying around. I don't want to cycle the Aspirins yet. The thinning isn't that important. Certainly less important than the land, or the mana will be. Pyroblast is good. How about we Trinket Mage? And then a Astrolabe. I'm gonna let their Ephemerate hit their Muldrifter, I think. Wow, I have bricked hard, but I've got a big beefy board, so. And I get to thin a whole ton on the end of their turn. Pass. I am so glad I cut those anti-combat cards. I could Pyroblast here, but I think I'd rather just Pyroblast their next blue threat. Like if they just play another Muldrifter or Archaeomancer, I'd rather have Pyroblast for that. Because, like, they're losing on board. They don't have any Core Skyfishers. Oh, and I will prohibit Core Skyfisher if they let me. I can just start beating them to death. Especially since I have the Horror. I can take out their... If they have a good blocker. Like, if they resolve a Core Skyfisher, I think I can Horror it. And then just try to beat them to death before their card advantage matters. Also, if I try to beat them to death before their card advantage matters, I can just draw good spells. They have to expend resources not dying. I don't. If they just Scred Horror... I don't know. I think I prohibit it, but... Of course, that also requires them to have Scred still in their library. And we'll see if that's the case. Oh, they're playing a Prism. That's really good for me. That means their hand has nothing. There's no advantage to having a Prism in play, right? Unless they want to double Ephemerate, but, you know, if they want to discard a bunch of cards, that's fine. Do I crack the map? I don't think I do. I don't think I want to take his shields down. Right-click attack with all. Chunk you. If they attempt to Ephemerate their Muldrifter after blocks, I get to Pyroblast, and then if they try to counter back, I get to Prohibit. Playing the island first was stupid. There's just no advantage to that. Yeah, they're definitely going to try to Ephemerate that Muldrifter, and I'm going to get them. I think prohibiting... I guess it doesn't really matter what I prohibit, huh? No, I guess if they have mutagenic growth, I don't trade my Horror off. And given I have so much mana, I'm going to cast my Muldrifter and then cast a Horror on their mountain. Oh, Pulse was really good. Oh, man. Okay. Anyway. We got it. Alright, we aggroed them out somehow. We did draw both anti-combat cards, but we had enough card draw that it didn't matter. Them doing nothing and missing their land drop that one turn and holding up a bunch of counter spells really paid off for us. Whew. We are 1-0. And there are 214 players, which means there are 9 rounds. Apparently the cutoff is 213 players for 9 rounds. So, we have a very long tournament. There's also a whole lot of people who, you know, haven't actually played much Magic the Gathering, much Pauper, rather. I'm sure they've played lots of Magic the Gathering if they're doing this, but they aren't typical Pauper grinders. So they could be on anything. And if they can be on anything, they're going to be on Jeskai Astrolabe. They're probably not going to be fast enough to play Tron. They are going to choose what they think is the best deck, and that's going to be a whole ton of Jeskai Astrolabe. There also might be a bunch of Stompy, which hopefully there will be more Stompy and less Astrolabe. We have a much better Stompy matchup. But if the field's just a bunch of inexperienced Jeskai Astrolabe players, I'm feeling very confident at our chances. We do still need to go like 7-2, which is a pretty good record. But I think I can manage. Hopefully, if we can keep drawing Tron at some point, this should be simple enough.